You're raving, you're raving, you're raving with RWR. Fabulous songwriters from Belgium and beyond, the lowlands, the highlands, and far across the pond. On Instagram and Facebook too, you can follow, like, and share. Please hit subscribe and join the tribe from the comfort of your chair. You're raving, you're raving, you're raving with RWR. Evening, hello there everybody, and welcome back to Raving with RWR here on my YouTube channel, Songs from the RWR Room, dedicated to singer-songwriters from Belgium and beyond. You're all very, very welcome. Episode number 55 here on the 2nd of December. I hope you're all doing fine and well. Let us know if you're watching live, where you're watching from. You know the drill at this stage. Drop us a line up there. If you're watching on Facebook, please give my RWR Room page a thumbs up, give the page a like. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube and you're new to the channel or you haven't already done so, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell down below. Also helps me to get the songs out there and build the channel up in a good way. Tonight's stream brought to us, as always, by the great people of G-Sharp Guitars, the world's finest travel electric guitars. So we have a few live viewers I see coming in, which is great. My guest tonight, we never met in person, but virtually a couple of times. You may have even seen him on the Kieran Halpin tribute show that I did here 5 or 6 weeks ago, and it's great to have him back on the show. We're going to talk to him now about his own songs and music and career, and it's great to have him on board. Please welcome the great Christoph Schellhorn from Austria. Are you there? Evening, sir.
Evening. Hi.
Good to have you back. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. Thank you.
Great. Lovely to be back. I also see that Chris Link has joined us. Chris was with us on that show that tribute show to Kieran. Hi, Chris. Welcome.
Hi,
Chris
Chris.
is up the road there from you in Deutschland, Bonnie Deutschland.
Hi,
Good to have you back with us, Chris. Good to see you. Good Abend. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions, folks, please drop them in there, and if they're relevant, I might stick them up on the screen. What are you doing with yourself since we spoke last? Are you okay?
What I've been doing with myself, it's as I told you before, it's really unusual these days when you're locked down for that long to be ready at 8 o'clock in the evening. It's just like you got to be ready for a gig at 8 o'clock in the evening.
It's weird. The body clock is set to kind of go, okay, it's that time. Let's jump into action. It gets worse at the weekend sometimes. But
yes, and also the longest hour, which is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's the longest hour of the day when you're gigging.
It is. Especially when you're gigging.
It kicked in tonight, so I'm feeling good, and I'm happy to be on here. And
you're very welcome to be. Lovely to have you on here. So it kind of felt a bit like a gig, except that you're not getting paid. None of us are getting paid, but it doesn't matter.
These days we only do home office, which in our case means practice. Write something if you can, and then go to the studio, which I'm fortunately allowed to do, and record new stuff from my new album. That's what I'm doing at the moment.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
When is the new album out?
I don't know. It's in times like these, there is no deadline,
Yeah, kind of a work in progress.
We decided to record one song at a time. So whenever I finish one, I call my recording engineer and tell him I'd like to go see you in the studio, and then we will work on that one song, and then we would go back home. So it's really unusual to work like this, but it's also kind of beautiful.
Yeah, a bit remotely almost. And do you get to go to the studio to see the man as well, or
we are
send files to each other? Yeah.
We have a pretty hard lockdown here in Austria, as you might know.
I heard. Yeah.
But I am allowed to leave home for professional purposes or for physical self. No, it's not gratification, but it's something like this. When you go out for a walk and try to relax, and you're allowed to do that. And I am allowed to meet my sound engineer to work in the studio with him. So that's what we,
Perfect.
of course, do.
Perfect. You know, even though it's a songwriter show, you were saying that you don't even really class yourself as a songwriter, even though you're a great songwriter. Tell me about that. I mean, I know you're a guitarist. That's what you meant, but that's number one for you, is it?
Yes, it has always been number one. It's my, my first love, and maybe my last, I don't know. But I know so many great songwriters, and I have been so fortunate over the last, 20 years to meet so many great singer-songwriters that I would never consider myself being, up there with them. It's maybe in the future, but I'm still, it's my songwriting is still a work in progress. And sometimes I'm pretty happy with what comes out, but I consider myself being a guitar player related to songs. That's maybe the thing. It's my first album was, almost exclusively instrumental pieces. With a duo partner, but there were 4 songs on that album. So I was always kind of interested in songs, much more than only instrumental music from a certain age. So in the beginning, it was only instrumentals, but then I started to really love what other people wrote, song-wise, lyric-wise. And that's why I would say, being a guitarist and a singer-songwriter, 1 out of 2 is not bad.
Absolutely. They say everyone has one gift, but I think you have more than one now, to be honest. I think your songs are great. We have, of course, as always on the show, we have got a cross-section of what you do as an artist, and it's lovely to have those songs. And of course, I have your latest release. The light is a bit weird here, which is called Holiday Heart, and it's a beautiful album. And there's also, there he is. There's also, that's you, look.
In black and white.
There is a CD in it as well. There are a lot of songs on it, and there is a musical piece on it as well. The title track is Holiday Heart, which we will have in a few minutes. But what was your upbringing like? I mean, tell me, brothers and sisters, music in your family, or were you exposed to music from a young age, or what was it like?
Oh, yeah. Almost everyone in our family plays either an instrument or sings. And there was really no escape for me. I recorded my first cassette when I was 2 years old. My mom recorded it. So there is this cassette that says, Christoph singt und spielt. 2 Jahre alt, 2 years old, 1985.
What did you sing?
Traditional songs.
Right.
And I also tried some early guitar playing and some early melodica playing, which sounded, I'd say interesting. But,
to say the least.
To say the least. So it was then when I was 9 years old, I started to have classical training on the clarinet and saxophone later, and joined the local brass band, as you have to do in Tyrol.
As you have to do, Yes.
When you play a wind instrument of any kind, you have to join the local brass band. And they also provide you with, beautiful instruments. You don't have to pay for them. So it's good work they do for young musicians.
It's great. You said you had brothers and sisters who also played?
I have a sister who lives in Munich. She plays the piano and sings beautifully. So my dad plays the guitar. He plays a good strumming guitar nowadays, but he can also fingerpick. And he showed me my first few chords when I was really, really young, and I always watched him play the guitar, and he did all these, Beatles songs for fingerstyle arrangements of Beatles songs. Back then, he was a good friend of Peter Ratzenbeck. He's pretty famous here in Austria. He is our Austrian Tommy Emmanuel, or our Austrian Werner Lemmerhirt. He is really a pioneer.
Good player.
of the Austrian fingerstyle scene. He did so much for it. So they were friends back then, and of course Peter taught him a lot, and my dad passed it on to me. So finally, I ended up meeting Peter, and now I'm recording CDs with him together.
It's amazing how it goes around, isn't it?
Full circle, yeah.
Full circle, amazing. We have Sissy Simon from Aus Vienna. Hello, Sissy. Do you know Sissy?
Sissy, hello,
Vienna?
Of course. Servus.
Hello, Sissy. Thank you for joining us. We have a friend Katja van der Porten over there as well in Burt Merbeck. Hello, Katja. Good evening over there. Yuri is up the road in the Ghent area too. Hello, Yuri. Great to have so many people joining us and dropping in to say hi. Let's have a song, Christoph, before we talk some more.
Why not?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
It is, yeah. Forrest Gump's mom.
Forrest Gump's mom, yeah.
Yeah, I wrote the song for her because it was originally you are picking
yes, that's the one.
That's the new version. I wrote this in English first, and it was called Box of Chocolates because that's what she would say to Forrest in the movie and in the book as well. The novel is even better in my point of view. But anyway, I found her to be one of the, moms are very important in your life. So my mother still is very important in my life, of course, but she, always supported me big time. I couldn't do what I do without her support, really, honestly. So I wanted to write something for a movie character that I find would be one of the most, kind-hearted movie characters of all time, and this is Forrest Gump's mom. And she was, the little philosophies she told him. They might sound simple, but they are not. So,
but they're brilliant. They were brilliant. So that's what inspired this. And let me see if I can get the title right now. And
you try.
Schotel Pralin. Close?
Yeah. Great.
It's a bit like the Vlaams, yeah, a little bit like Flemish. So
very Tirolerish.
Yeah. So let's have a go. Here it is, folks. Song number 1 tonight from Christoph Schellhorn. Basically translated to "Life is like a box of chocolates." Here it goes. Yeah.
Wenn in mir ein Gefühl kommt, dann renn ich fort. Hab kein Ziel wohin, nur von da nach dort. Die Vergangenheit liegt hinter mir. Wenn ich mich schnell beweg, kann ich alles kriegen, was vor mir liegt. Weil sie ist weg. Wir sind nur Plattel, die der Wind verwahrt. Es gibt keinen Grund und keinen Reim drauf, wurscht wie man's draht. Wann immer wir rennen, wohin und wie weit, machen wir nur eins, wir verschwenden Zeit. Wenn wir zum Himmel aufschauen, ganz unbeschwert, merkt man, dass die Sonne oder die Sterne ins Einen kehrt. Eine Schachtel Pralinen ist wie das Leben, was drinnen ist, schmeckt einmal lieblich zart und süß. Und und einmal mies. Wir sind nur Blattel, die der Wind verwahrt. Es gibt keinen Grund und kein Reim drauf, wurscht wie man's draht. Wann immer wir rennen, wohin und wer weit, macht man nur eins, wir verschwenden Zeit. Wir sind nur Blattel, die der Wind verwahrt. Es gibt keinen Grund und kein Reim drauf, wurscht wie man's draht. Wann immer wir rennen, wohin und wie weit, macht man nur eins, wir verschwinden Zeit. Verschwinden Zeit, verschwinden Zeit, verschwinden Zeit, verschwinden Zeit, wir verschwinden Zeit.
Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That's great stuff. That's fabulous.
Thanks.
Did you see that Katja was saying she's eating the chocolates there while the song was going on? Yeah, why not?
Good idea, Katja.
Good idea, Katja. Save some for me now for next week, yeah? We're meeting up next week, so save a couple, just a couple. We have, just going through a couple more comments here while we're chatting. Elke Kessler. Hi, Christoph and Dahi from Hanau in Germany.
Hi, Elke.
Guten Abend, Elke. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining us.
She's...
Absolutely. And Michiel is there as well. Good to see you all, folks, tuning in. Mr. Mojo up the road. Stephen is there. Great stuff. I have a great comment there from
Good
Chris
Mojo.
Again. Good Mojo indeed. I highly admire Christoph's guitar skills, but even as a German, it's difficult to understand the Austrian accent. As Germans are always complaining about something.
You gotta challenge. You gotta challenge yourself. I know it's not easy, but
that's not easy. You gotta challenge.
You
do
will
your best,
figure
Chris.
it out.
You'll figure it out. Do your best. Mojo says it sounds a bit like the Warschutz dialect, which is where we're from here, where we're living. Indeed. So he's intrigued by that. You know, though, sometimes when you meet a songwriter, I know we didn't meet in person, but when I you know, when you meet a songwriter, sometimes you kind of shake hands with them or look, you know, but your eyes are kind of glancing over to their guitar to see what they're playing. You know, that's kind of what I did with you. I went, oh yeah, hello, Christoph, and I was kind of looking and going, what is that? And I realized it was a Stevens guitar. Anybody who knows acoustic guitars, German built or Austrian? German built. You have it there, I hope.
Munich, Bayern, Germany.
Bayern. Philip Mazur is the Belgian, one of the Belgian men that play Stevens here, and a different shaped Stevens, sort of a southern jumbo dreadnoughty, but that's a beauty. Oh, look, I can see myself in your guitar. Yeah, how long have you got that guitar now? It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Well, I got it. It was built in 1998. Custom for Peter Ratzenbeck, not for me. And I got it, I gotta think now. I gotta really think now. Maybe must have been 2000 by the year. Either 1999 or 2000. I got it.
She's well played in. There's a great tone off it. It's one of your many.
Yeah, that's my main guitar. The Stevens is my main guitar. It's what I use mostly for gigs, and It's also my main fingerstyle guitar, because she's perfect for all this kind of that stuff. Because you can hear every string.
Yeah, of course, it never comes across as well as it never comes across as well as it could on the internet. But are you predominantly a dadgad player, or is it mainly dadgad, or do you just
it's one of my favorite tunings, dadgad, because it gives you such freedom on the instrument, because it's neither minor nor major tuning.
Yes.
It's modal, D modal, you could call it.
Indeed.
So it's got no defining third. I won't turn this thing here into a guitar workshop, but it's just, it gives you such, you move one finger, one fret up or down, and you're in minor or major position, and it's just, you can do so much with it. You can either leave it as it is and instantly be in Ireland in this vibe, or you can also play really heavy blues with it. It's just matter of taste.
Very true.
I use it a lot, really a lot.
It is gorgeous. What else? What's there over your shoulder? What's that thing there? There's like a Martin, is it?
This one, it's a Martin 018.
Gorgeous too.
And I got this one from my dad. That's the guitar I was looking at all the time when he played. He would play like and so on.
And
so I really learned. Yeah, I learned how to play the thing on this thing. So it's really my. It's a family baby.
How lucky you were to have a guitar of that caliber to to cut your teeth on, as we say, to learn your trade and to.
There are pictures of me where I am just as tall as this guitar is, and this guitar is not very tall.
No, it's not very tall. No, and you were the same height.
They don't build them like this no more. This 018 ran out of factory. I don't know when, but they don't build this anymore. So for this model.
Is it a 70s, or do you know, or older?
85.
It's 85.
85. So it's 2 years older than me. No, 2 years younger than me.
2 years younger. Easy now.
It is.
Amazing. What a gorgeous gift from your dad. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, he knew that he would give it to me, and he knew that I would never sell it. That was one of the deals we made. He gave it to me and said, "Now you take care of this, and you play it as well as you can, and promised me to keep it in shape." It also requires a bit of maintaining, because wood over time it shrinks. And we had to do a few surgeries, but nothing major. And I try to keep the thing in shape, and I try to play it, and he knows that I'm playing it, as often as I can, and I don't take her on the road that much, because she's a little diva now, and an old lady.
Yeah.
But I promised him to never sell it, and I could never sell it. It's just there are things. There is no price tag for this.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. Sometimes the cheaper guitars are the ones you get given, are ones you'll never part with. You'll part with a more expensive instrument quicker than you will one with sentimental value. Of course, I know exactly what you mean. But speaking of guitars and that, you really are a top guitar player. I know you kind of criticize your own songwriting, which you're brilliant at, but you not only do you play amazing acoustic guitar, you write pieces on acoustic guitar as well, right? You've written pieces and you perform pieces. You were saying Tommy Emmanuel, of course, one of your big influences in the scene. Yeah. Anybody else that you kind of draw inspiration from?
I have to tell you that my first inspiration was, here in Austria, going to this concert. I know I was 12 or 13 years old. It was Peter Ratzenbeck, and he did a duo show with Hans Theesink. You might know Hans Theesink up there where you live. Yeah. He's originally from the Netherlands, but living in Vienna. So they toured together as a duo for quite some time. And when I saw what Peter did with his guitar that evening, I knew that I didn't know what he was doing, first of all, but I knew that I wanted to do something like this. This is the thing for me. I knew, instantly. So he was my first major influence, and I learned a lot from him. And he's very generous with passing on his skills, and he hosts a lot of workshops here in Austria. Still does. And that was my first contact with steel string fingerstyle guitar. And then, of course, I learned a lot from people like Jacques Stotzen. He's from Belgium.
Oh, didn't know him either.
Very fine fingerstyle player. Tours all over the world. Well, not now, but usually.
Used to, yeah.
And then,
I mean,
course,
not now with Corona,
yeah, as we all are, limited.
Same story,
yeah. And then, of course, the late great Chris Jones, who he showed me a lot of stuff I really didn't know beforehand. And I was like, I knew him from records, and I knew him from playing with people like Kieran Halpin and Geraldine McGowan, Sarah Kay, Reinhard May. The list goes on forever, he played for so many great people. Alan Taylor, for example, who I met when I was really young too. I met Alan Taylor the same evening as I met Colin Wilkie and Andy Irwin in Halle. That's all because of Peter Ratzenbeck organized a folk festival there. So then I discovered, because Alan gave me one of his CDs and he signed it and wrote to me like, good luck with your maybe upcoming career. And then I noticed that Chris Jones played on this record. So I discovered that guy, and later, much later, we became friends. I became friends with Chris.
You did.
In 2001 or 2, and he was never shy of showing people like me, young guitar players, who are maybe searching for their own voice, their own style, and not really sure where to go. And I would always ask him, Chris, can you tell me how you do this or that? And he would go like, order 2 pints of beer and get the guitars, and now I'll show you what to do with this. But what you didn't hear was, like this. I learned so much from the man. It's incredible stuff he did. And there are a lot of records out there he played on, but there are also his, solo records out there.
Yeah, incredible musician.
People like this. Yeah. And of course, then again later, the great Tommy Emmanuel, who I consider maybe the only world star on acoustic fingerstyle guitar who plays worldwide at that level. Not that he is so much better than other players, because everyone is different,
But his style, yes.
But he is so, and his way of doing shows is just not usual for fingerstyle players, because he entertains thousands of people at one show, and this is something you got to look up to.
Absolutely. We spoke about this briefly before, but when we come back after the song, we'll talk a little bit more about Tommy Emmanuel and that aspect of his show, the entertainment aspect, because it's quite interesting and important to do that, if that's okay with you. But in the meantime, I want to play one of your great songs. It's the title track of your album called Holiday Heart. Just tell us a little bit about about this particular piece. Was it inspired by anything in particular?
I wanted to arrange the theme of Pinocchio, the comic series Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And I ended up, because it's so short, Kleines Püppchen, da 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 da, da 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 da, Pinocchio, and then it's over. It's 1 minute 20 and it's over. So I wanted to write an intro for that Pinocchio theme.
Okay.
And then I ended up with an intro that was longer than the original song. So there is a slow section in this song and the fast section. The slow section is I called it usually at first I called it Waiting for Pinocchio. That was the original
Right.
title for this piece. And then we decided to go on vacation because I like to free dive. I'm a free diver, and we went to Sharm el Sheikh, Egypt, and because
Wow.
there are great spots to free dive and see a lot of fish and even whale sharks and stuff like that, with no equipment. So I didn't. Not only did I free dive, but we also one night we met a few very, very interesting people at the hotel lobby, and we partied all night long until the late hours in the morning.
The late hours, not the early hours. Yeah.
Not the early, no. And we no, you could see no one from our table the next day in the hotel. They were all, we were all dead the next day, and we were experiencing, some of us, including me, experiencing cardial disharmonies.
Oh yeah.
How do you say that? Heart rhythm changes.
Okay.
And there is a term for that. I don't know if it's a term in English language. It's called the holiday heart syndrome.
Is it?
It is a medical term.
Never heard of that. Right.
When you do a Google search with the song title Holiday Heart, or the album title Holiday Heart, you will get the medical term holiday heart syndrome, because people would go, young people, with no serious illnesses or anything, fit people would go to the doctor after a weekend of party.
Yeah.
And they were experiencing this, and they would tell the doctor, "What's wrong with my heart? I'm worried about this, and could you check me?" And he would say, "What did you do on Saturday, Friday, Sunday?" And they would say, "Well, we partied hard, all weekend."
Yeah.
And the doctor would be like, "Don't worry, it's only a holiday heart."
It's only holiday heart. It's a great title. It's a great title. Let's have a listen, Christoph. Again on your Stevens guitar, beautiful bit of fingerstyle playing, and back in a moment, folks, with more from Christoph Schellhorn. Check out this great track, title track of his recent album, Holiday Heart. Yeah, get that Stevens out of my face. I don't want to see you showing off your Stevens to me.
It's a coincidence.
A coincidence. Absolutely beautiful. No, that's not coincidence. You were like, here, Dottie's watching. Let's show him this gorgeous Stevens acoustic guitar. Absolutely, Chris. Thank you very much. Absolutely excellent.
Thank you.
Sissy wants to know, what are holidays? I've nearly forgotten.
Oh, yeah, me too. Cici, I feel you.
She understands. You understand.
Yeah.
You understand each other.
She's a great promoter living in Vienna. She does great concerts all year round with her culture club called Blue Simon. Of course, it's difficult nowadays, but she is responsible for many beautiful gigs that I got to play in Vienna. Just as Elke before from Hanau. It's the same in Hanau with Elke. They are promoting in such a beautiful way.
Maybe she's worked with my Irish friend Shane O'Fergal, who's from Dublin. He lives in Vienna. He's doing a lot of good work around Europe. So Shane did a live stream here with me some couple of months ago as well. So they may have. If not, please go and check him out. Shane O'Fergal, ladies, Vienna-based artist, brilliant too. Absolutely. Have you ever? Do you give lessons? Will you give me some dadgad lessons if I ask you nicely?
Now?
No, maybe not now. We won't do. We'll do maybe after the show.
No. I do. Yeah, I give.
You teach.
I teach. I have a few students. I never. It's never more than 5 students for me that are coming to private lessons. Because I'm touring a lot and I couldn't do more than 5. But I also host workshops all year round. Fingerstyle, it's for beginners and everybody else.
Great.
Advanced players too. And also it's a little bit of songwriting that goes into these workshops as well. So I teach. It's something I love to do. I found playing concerts, of course, is what we love the most. Yeah. I think I can speak for many of us. That's what really fuels you, and because you give you get so much back from the audience, and it's just what drives us. But then I discovered that I really loved playing on other people's records or songs as a session player.
Yeah.
It's become for me one of the most beautiful jobs I can think of, and I really love that. And I get to do it, quite sometimes, fortunately. And then the third thing would be, teaching, hosting workshops, giving lessons, which I also, my mom's a teacher, and she has retired now, but she when she was actively teaching, she was very fortunate because she was one of these teachers that the students would love, and students would write letters to her. Oh, we're so sorry you're retired. Please come back. Is there a chance you can come back? And it's
really?
I studied a few things I thought I should study, but never finished one, musicology and stuff, and some English and some biology, but I never went down that becoming a teacher line. But then later I became a teacher in another way, teaching.
What do you teach now? Once again?
Hosting workshops and giving lessons.
The guitar stuff. Yeah, what I thought you meant in your day job. You have a day job as well, I guess, have you?
No, that is my day job.
That is your day job. Perfect.
Well, my day job usually is driving the car from A to B, and my second job is playing concerts.
Absolutely fantastic. But you also, apart from being a brilliant session musician, of course, I was introduced to your music through our dear friend, may he rest in peace, Kieran Halpin. You suggested a song which we'll play in a moment, because you're also very comfortable covering other people's songs. I mean, I say covering songs, I mean songs that would be sort of lesser known, that you kind of make you make your own. We spoke about that part of what we do as well is to take a song that is known or lesser known and making it your own, putting your own stamp on it. I know that's important to you. It's important to me as well. So I was going to ask you to tell us a little bit about this song from Monte Montgomery that we're going to play next. Yeah.
It's this song is, I don't know, it attracted me the first time I heard it. It just stood out for me, and I have always loved this song. And I told him a few times that I really dig this tune, and I saw him playing live 2 times.
And who is he, Christoph?
He is a guitar player who also writes his own songs, but also does covers from Austin, Texas, and he is an incredible acoustic electric guitar player, as you could call it. He puts his acoustic Alvarez guitar through stuff you normally wouldn't put your acoustic signal through, and then he runs, many amps behind him, including tube amps. Not only clean stuff as we do, the AER amp, which I love to use too. They built him a custom version, and he achieves that amazing hard and heavy sound if he wants to on an acoustic.
Acoustic guitar.
It's this distorted blues sound he gets, almost like Stevie Ray Vaughan-ish, if you. And he also did a famous version that got nominated for a Grammy, I believe, of Little Wing Hendrix on acoustic guitar. And this song, "Wishing Well," is just it's a song that stayed with me for almost 15 years now. And I recorded it twice on a live album I did, and on a studio record too. So I decided to, it was on the live CD, and I decided to re-record it as a studio version for the latest album. And I know that this here is a songwriter show, but I thought it would be nice to include a cover, because I tuned the guitar in a different way, and he also he shared it on Facebook, I believe, and he wrote to his fans, would you listen to this? Because I dig the open tuning this guy uses for the song.
What tuning is it, Christoph? Just for the guitar geeks out there.
Obviously, DADGAD.
Oh, of course, has to be. Yeah. Okay. So it's a DADGAD tuning. Great. But I know it's a songwriter show, but I mean, he's a songwriter, and you're doing his song justice, and that's also. It's all intricate. It's all connected. You are. It's all definitely intricate.
He approved it, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, to have someone, I have to check his music out. He sounds like a very interesting performer.
You will love it.
I'd love it. Yeah, I mean, putting guitars through amps. I know Chris Link over there is going to be. He's probably already hasn't checked out.
Monte Montgomery.
Monte Montgomery. All right. Well, let's have a listen to this, and we'll come back with more chat in a couple of seconds. Christoph, if you're game ball, Christoph Schellhorn, folks, brilliant interpretation of a song written by Monte Montgomery, and the song is called "Wishing Well."
In the corner of the box, I'm like lost and found. I find myself again, down in the bottom of a wishing well, with all the dreams that might have been. Sudden out of pressure, what's coming down? I'm relying on face I can hand. Used to be an average man with bigger than average plans, and somehow I got lost along the way, and now I'm here. And don't you know you could be the one to set me free? We don't like to be someone somebody could see. And you can find me still in the corner of a box, like lost and found at the bottom of a wishing well. the weight of a wrecking ball, I'm defining my own sense of worth. Wanna be my soul in the light as a loser finds me immersed. The institution owes me my name, all the tricks to see while you stand. Used to be an average man, bigger than average clowns. I somehow got lost along the way, and now I'm here. And don't you know you could be the one to set me free? Waiting all my life to be someone somebody could see. And you can find me still in the corner of a box, my lost and found at the bottom of a wishing well. I'm shuddering by myself, each wish in the shape of a coin. Needle tender for wishes and thrown as the water reflects the unknown. The tidal runs through the surface of time, but I can't live anything here. Used to be an average man, bigger than average clowns. And somehow I got lost along the way now I'm here. You could be the one to set me free. Made all my life to be someone somebody could see. And you could find me still in the corner of a box, but lost and found at the bottom of a wishing well. And don't you know you could be the one to set me free? Waiting all my life to be someone somebody could see. And don't you know you could be the one to set me free, to set me free. 'Cause I wait all my life, wait all my life, I wait all my life, waited all my life to be someone, be someone. Waited all my life to be someone, to be someone. Waited all my life to be someone, to be someone. I waited all my life to be someone somebody can see. And you can find me still in the corner of a box, like lost and found at the bottom of a wishing well. At the bottom of a wishing well. At the bottom of a wishing well.
That was my. You know what? I don't want lessons from you at all. No way. Yeah, forget about what I said earlier. No, I'm never going to pick up a guitar in front of you, Christoph. No,
Alles ist gut.
absolutely not. No, astounding.
Thank you.
Amazing version and amazing playing. No wonder he loved it. Wow, what an amazing, version. Just stunning.
Thanks.
Unreal. Some big sound you had there live as well. Is that just air amps, or you don't have to give away your secrets if you don't want? But it looked like you had at least two air amplifiers behind you there. And do you use any kind of pedals, or what do you go out with live pedal-wise, electronic-wise?
Electronic-wise, I'm pretty simple. It's my AER. It's a Compact 60,
Lovely.
and I come out of my guitar first, and then I go into a tuner pedal.
Yeah.
Then I go into a preamp booster pedal, which does nothing but boost, so it sound stays the same.
Is that on all the time? I mean, it's a booster. No, you just hit it when you need it.
The booster, this case, in this video, I didn't use the booster at all because it was a solo.
Okay.
There was another band on which the other AR belonged to.
I see.
But when I'm playing with someone else, the booster becomes important because you have two guitars here.
Yeah.
Then you have either one guy singing, and then the other guitar shouldn't be here. And when he's not singing, it can stay here, which you need the booster for, or when you do a solo. So that's what that is for. And it belonged to Chris Jones. It's Chris Jones's original old beaten up booster. Kieran gave it to me as a present, Kieran Halpin, because he found it in his attic, rearranging some stuff. And as usual, Chris would leave bits and pieces of him all over the world. So he sent to me a little package. And he announced it. He said, there is a little package to you in the post today, which I know you will know immediately what it is, and I cannot think of anybody else who could make use of this. So I'm still using that old beaten up booster Chris used.
Yeah, amazing.
Stamp on, and then it goes into a tremolo pedal, both from Nobles, which I use almost never. I use it 3 or 4 times in a 19-minute show, just to when something, the last chord, then I hit the tremolo.
Just a little last chord, yeah.
Wang. There you go.
Yeah.
Or in between a song, when there is a break or a nice moment when you can let something ring, then I would use the tremolo. And then out of this stuff, I go into my amp, into the Compact 60. And out of the Compact 60, I go either into my own PA or any mixing desk, or I just give the sound man one cable and say, plug it in, turn it up.
They're so good for that. So good for DIing out of. I used the Compact 60 a long time. Yeah, amazing things. I hope they're looking after you. Do you talk to AER about any kind of sponsoring or endorsement deal? You do?
I'm not really an endorser, but I'm a friend. They have these 2 categories, Tommy Emmanuel is an endorser. Monty Montgomery is an endorser. They have their own models. They build.
They do.
They build for them. But I'm a friend of theirs, and I got a nice price. And they are also nice with promoting, sharing stuff when you have something new coming out.
Yeah.
So I love the people at AER. They are really not only are they building extremely powerful, great sounding, bright amps for people like us that enjoy a clean sound, which is still powerful, but they are also really into music. This is maybe what sets them apart.
Very important. Yeah, you were speaking of Tommy Emmanuel, beginning of the show, we spoke about Tommy, and you said a very cool thing, which I want to go back to, which is you were talking about how he, even though he's a fingerstyle guitarist, which, if you're a fingerstyle guitarist yourself, you can go to a show of a fingerstyle guitarist and be enthralled by what they do. But you were saying Tommy brings in another element into that, the entertainment element. Just talk a little bit about that, what you meant by that.
Well, I think he does it in a big way, I believe. I think everyone I look up to or admire, or whose music I really like, does it in his or her way. He just does it in such a big way that's not usual for most of us fingerstyle guitar players and songwriters. He would play the most difficult stuff on this guitar and just put a smile. He would smile into the audience, like,
yeah,
it's just amazing. Yeah. When I play some of his songs, I try to I pick certain songs from guitar players I like.
Yeah.
I also still play Peter Ratzenbeck's stuff to keep my fingers warm, to keep my fingers up to date, to keep me on my toes.
Sure.
And the same I would do with Tommy's stuff, or Monty's stuff, or Chris Jones stuff, or Jacques Dotzem, or Franco Morone from Italy. You name it. The list is almost endless. There are so many great players out there. And sometimes I would, pick a song and just try if I could get it right. Or a student comes to me and tells me, I want to learn that song from Tommy Emmanuel. And I said, well, we will need some time. But when you are willing to invest time and blood and sweat and tears, get to work, and we will try the best we can, and I know I'm not Tommy Emmanuel, and I cannot play like him. I can play like Christoph Schellhorn. But I taught him the song Halfway Home, it's called, and it led to me recording it for my new album just a few days ago in the studio. I needed 15 takes, but it's in the box now. So
great, congratulations!
And I'm happy when it's when you play stuff like this. It's difficult for most people. And it's also, I think, challenging for Tommy himself when he writes something like this, or any other of his challenging fingerstyle songs. But he makes it look so easy on stage and so entertaining, and so he's so encouraging with the crowd. So that's just something that kind of stood out for me.
Do you know who else made it look very easy? The late great Kieran Halpin. Let's talk a little bit about Kieran. You wrote him a great song recently, which we'll play in a moment. But some of you may have seen or heard Christoph when we did the Kieran Halpin tribute show. But let's just go over a few memories while we're here of about Kieran, what he meant to you, and how you first met him and ended up being his guitarist.
Well, I never was his guitarist, but I played with him sometimes, and we recorded together sometimes. But his guitar players were, Jimmy Faulkner, Chris Jones, Jimmy Smith, these Martin Alcock played bass, but still guitar. These were his guitar players. I was his friend.
Yeah, I know you were. Yeah.
And I never considered myself being his guitar player, but we made a lot of music together.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it very much.
Anyway, folks, that was the great Christoph Schellhorn. I want to thank him very, very much for being with us tonight. I'm going to leave you with a great song that he wrote for our dear friend, the wonderful Kieran Halpin. And this song is it's called The Crystal Wine Glass. He talks about being the early band. It used to be the early band at gigs when they did some gigs together. The early band and the late night wine. We had some technical issues there at the end, but that's okay. Please check out the great Christoph Schellhorn there. You will you see his website there underneath the screen. I will say goodnight myself, and thank you very, very much for sticking with us, for staying with us for this live stream number 55. I'm back again on Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We'll be going over to Canada to meet the great Paul O'Brien, the great singer-songwriter based in Canada. Thanks again to Christoph Schellhorn for his great stories and his great songs. I will see you soon on the next Raving with Rua, and I'm going to play out with a song called Crystal Wineglass from the great Christoph Schellhorn, written for his friend and mine, the great Kieran Halpin. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for being here. All the very best. Bye-bye.
Bright and dark in the angry song. Some got it right, some got it wrong. The early band and the late night wine. The empty bar after closing time. The finish line left you torn apart. No one should die of a broken heart. The long-lost friend standing at the door, the crystal wine glass falling on the floor. South of Vienna we waited for you. Up in Scotland you did what you could. North of Dublin I saw they loved you. Down by the river you left for good. The singing boots and the stories told, the staying young and the getting old, the endless road and the many miles, the bitter tears and the loving smiles, the old dog and the turning black, the glory days and the looking back. The long-lost friend standing at the door, the crystal wine glass falling on the floor. South of Vienna we waited for you. Up in Scotland you did what you could. North of Dublin I saw they loved you. Down by the river you left for good. South of Vienna we waited for you. Up in Scotland you did what you could. North of Dublin I saw they loved you. Down by the river you left for good.